Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the chairman for the time. Today's presentation, I would like to share the result of our research. This is me, Pratama, and I am supervised by my two supervisors, Professor Yamasaki and Professor Yoneda. Our result is about estimating radiocesium flux from catchment of rivers to the ocean by using compartment model. So this is the outline of my research. And then, first of all, I would like to introduce the background of our research. Maybe some of you already know, but let me remind it again a little bit. So Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant exploded, or the accident was occurred in the 2011. It was emitted a numerous amount of radiocesium to the environment. According to the IRSN, it's about 310 to the power of 16th of becquerel was released into the environment, and it is dispersed in the atmospheres and deposited in the surrounding environment. One of the surrounding environment is the catchment of the rivers in the Fukushima prefecture. According to a survey by the Japanese Nuclear Regulation Authority, it's about 10,000 to 10 million of becquerel per meter square of radiocesium deposited in the catchment and the river catchment of Abukuma. And then, due to the hydrological process, it will be redistributed or transported into the other part of the environment. And it was confirmed also according to a survey by the, again, Japanese Nuclear Regulation Authority. In the bottom sediment of the Abukuma River, it was detected radiocesium up to 16,000 becquerel per kilogram. And then, as the river flows, it will bring the suspension that containing radiocesium into the river mouth, which is located in the mouth which is located in the Sendai Bay. And according to the publication by Professor Yamasaki, it was estimated about 10.4 terabecquerel of radiocesium was discharged into the Pacific Ocean from August 2011 to May 2012. So this is a very huge, very great amount of radiocesium into the Pacific Ocean. But interestingly, it's only 1.13% of the total radionuclides deposited in the catchment of the area, in the catchment area of the river. So we can expect that the transport will occur in very long period. That's why it is important to develop a model that can simulate the transport of the radionuclide. So also the future projection is also important, since there is still 99% radiocesium in the catchment area of the river. So our model is based on wash-off process, which is defined as the natural decontamination process of radionuclide in the surface ground due to hydrological factors such as runoff and erosion. And this is the simple animation of the wash-off process. This is radiocesium deposited on the ground surface of the catchment of the river. And due to runoff or erosion, it washed away some fraction of the radionuclide from the ground surface, with the specific value for the transfer rate. And this is the governing equation that quantify the wash-off process. And initially, we also made such kind of assessment of the past or the previous models that had been developed by other researchers from nuclear weapon tests, and then post-Chernobyl accident into the Fukushima accident, and the wash-off process keep getting improved over the times. So, but however, in case of after Fukushima accident, it's a little bit limited, the number of the study of the wash-off process. So in this study, we would like to follow up the wash-off process study that have been done since nuclear weapon test. So, and then we would like to set, we set our objective and scope this is the objective of our research, to estimate the radiocesium discharge from river in Fukushima Prefecture to the Pacific Ocean, and then to follow up the study on wash-off process that has been developed since nuclear weapon test period, and then to analyze the correlation between the land use diversity to the radiocesium discharge into the Pacific Ocean, and finally to predict a long period discharge of radiocesium to the Pacific Ocean. And this is the description of the study area. So this is the river catchment. So we use 17 rivers catchment. First of the biggest one here, number one is Abukuma River, one of the largest river in Tohoku area, and the other 16 is located in the east coast of Fukushima Prefecture. And this is the map of Japan, and this is the orange one. Represent the study case of our research. And the left picture is about the distribution of land use of the study area, and it is dominated by forest, and the remaining was occupied by urban area and agriculture. And the right one is the elevation of the study area, and as you can see that the Abukuma River, the elevation for Abukuma River is relatively flatter, but then in the 16 rivers, the other 16 rivers, it's very steep on the upstream, but relatively flatter in the downstream. And this is according to the survey by Ministry of Education and Culture of Japan. This is the deposition of radiocesium in the study area. The left one is for cesium-137 deposition, and the right one for 134 cesium deposition. And the next part is the description of our model. The model developed in the study is multi-compartment area that analyzes the migration of radionuclides from one compartment into another, where the migration process is represented by a transfer rate. And then the model consists of two submodels, which are basin and river. And this is the governing equation. And we also considering the natural decay process of the radionuclide. And this is the models network that we made. We divide the catchment area into 3 big groups based on the land use type. And this is for forest group, this is for agriculture group, and this is for urban group. And all of the groups are interconnected into a receiving water bodies such as river or lake. But in this case, in our study case, is a river. And then in the river, it will be there is a process, and then we can estimate the number of radiocesium in the end of the river. And this is the parameter of the wash-off process. Most of the parameter determined in the after Chernobyl accident period. But there are one or two publications about the wash-off parameter value in Japan made by research made by team from Tsukuba University. So we also include that value in the range of the parameter value of wash-off process. And this is the general parameter that we set it based on the ArcGIS analysis or the other sources from secondary data. And then let's see the result and let's discuss the result of our research. And then this is first of all the model test. So we should know how accurate the estimated data that we produce. So this is the comparison between the observed data and the model, the observed data and the model data. The observed data we obtained from the observation result from Professor Yamashiki publication. And this comparison shows that the correlation coefficient that we obtained about 0.98 and 97, it shows that the model could predict the seasonal variation of the observed data. And and we also calculate the nest efficiency coefficient, which we obtain about over 0.8. It shows that our model data is better than the average of observed data. And also, it should be noted that in September of 2011, it's the time where the radiocesium transported into the Pacific Ocean. This occurred due to the presence of the typhoon that hit the study area in 2011 in September 2011. And this is the validation for the 16 river in Fukushima, but we only have 8 rivers. However, this is not really good validation because this is only 4 months period. 4 months observed data, so it's not really represent the accuracy of the estimated data. However, based on this comparison, we can see that the model data and the observed data have a good agreement. And this is the future projection of the radiocesium for 100 years. This is the left figure is for 137 and the right figure is for 134 cesium. And as we can see that in the case of cesium 137, the discharge will occur for until 100 years, although in the end of 100 years, the number could be, will not as high as for the initial years. And for cesium 134, due to the faster half-life, it will be significant amount only until 20 to 40 years. Over that, it might be neglected. And this is the accumulation of the discharge for 100 years. So we calculate the annual discharge and we sum it for every years until 100 years. So for rivers for 16 rivers in the Fukushima prefecture, we estimate about 124 terabecquerel of radiocesium will be discharged into the Pacific Ocean. And we sum it with the Abukuma River, the largest one. And the total of the radiocesium discharge into the Pacific Ocean could be 278 terabecquerel after 100 years. We also analyzed the effect of land use type to the discharge of radiocesium. The left one is the correlation between the fraction of forest or percentage of forest in a catchment area versus percentage of discharge radiocesium to the Pacific Ocean. And as we can see that we obtain a negative correlation, it means that the more percentage of forest in a catchment of the river, it will be the less of radiocesium will be discharged into the Pacific Ocean. However, on the other hand, on the right side, we could see the correlation between the percentage of urban area in a catchment of the river versus the percentage of discharged radiocesium into the ocean. We can see the positive correlation. It shows that the more percentage of urban area in a river catchment will be the more of radiocesium discharged into the Pacific Ocean. And also we analyze the effect of decontamination activities. So this is the decontamination activities proposed by JAEA, Japanese Atomic Energy Agency, and we can see that for each land use they suggest the method of decontamination activities, and we can know the removal rate for these activities, and we can know the decontamination speed meters square per day. So this is the value that's suggested by JAEA. And then
we have to finalize in very short.
Okay, yeah, this is my last slide. So this is so we made a three scenario, and as we can see that the time of the speed for 10 times speed, we can see we can significantly observe the speed, the reduction of the flux of the radiocesium into the Pacific Ocean. So this is my conclusion, but as the time It's not available, so I will skip the conclusion. And lastly, if you want to read the detail of our research, you can find in our publication. Thank you very much for your attention.